Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Daily Run, and today we're playing as Eden. I'm still a bit sorry because I'm a bit sick and these videos are coming out later than usual and because of my snotty voice, but I'm really hoping that in 2 or 3 days I'll be back to normal. I know there are a few of you who watch these videos regularly, and I really appreciate that. I'm sorry that it had to turn out this way. I know that when you get used to a schedule, it's really nice that whenever you look there's a video waiting for you. And I hope that in the 2 days time we will be back to that schedule, but for now it's really so much easier for me to record in the morning, so these videos come out like 3 or 4 hours later than usual, and I hope that you just kind of bear with me for the time being until I actually do get better. With that said, we had a very fun run last time, and this one also seems actually pretty fun. I really like whenever we have the chance to use active items that might not seem that good, and use them kind of well. And in this case we have the ventricle razor or cutter, I'm not sure how it's called, but it has a ton of uses. So you can see that whenever you enter one hole, so whenever you use it you put out a blue or an orange hole, and whenever you enter one you exit the other one. And besides it giving it the benefit of actually being able to teleport out and in of rooms, so that means you can go to mob rooms or maybe boss trap rooms or boss rush and just get out immediately. You can also use it for playing the blood bank or the devil beggar, because what happens is when you exit the hole you have a very brief period of invincibility, and you can use that invincibility to actually play the blood bank or of course the devil beggar. And that's what I did here. I just got a bunch of coins, I played it a bunch of times and it turned out well. Here I made a mistake because I dropped it on the floor. It's a good idea, but the problem is that the little guy who shoots brimstone will actually sometimes corner you this way, and I couldn't just not place the orange portal down, because what would happen is I would get teleported outside. But maybe what I should have done is place the portal down, get outside, place them both outside, so then I can find the blighted ovum without any portals in the way. Here's a choice I made. I used the forget me now. I always recommend saving it for later, so you can actually replay the longer floors, which net you more points. But this run was actually so weak. We took 3 hits to kill the basic spiders, and I think this is something I learned not too long ago, that if a run is weak, it's usually much better to use your forget me now or the pill to restart the floor early on, when you can actually deal with enemies. Because what happens if you have a weak run and you restart later, not only are you not gonna get any other benefits or items, it's also gonna be so much harder for you not to take damage and actually stay positive. With that said, we have a few cute plays because of that here. We did buy Diplopia in the shop, so first of all, of course, we are playing the Devil Beggar. That's a given because we do have Alges. And we have a few choices to make here, so in which order do we take the items? So at first I didn't plan on using Diplopia, but then I thought, maybe this is my best opportunity to do it. So what you do, if you pick up an item and there's a pedestal left behind it, and you duplicate that pedestal, you will actually get a new item. So in this case we got a succubus, and that might seem a bit weird if you're not used to how Diplopia works, but what I definitely should have done if I was planning to use Diplopia is use it before I picked up Rotten Baby, and then I would have 2 Rotten Babies. That's a small mistake to make. I mean, in retrospect, like 1 Rotten Baby won't make too big of a difference, but the fact that we are at half a Spirit Heart makes things a bit tricky. But I think it's definitely the right idea or decision to duplicate there, because without that we really wouldn't stand too big of a chance on the next floor. Succubus really did a lot of work here, and when you go online and you see people talking about it, they just mentioned how bad this run was. So I really think that this was a good idea. Sometimes, when you have these super powerful items like Forget Me Now or Diplopia, it might be tempting to save them, and that's something that I actually did a lot back in the day, I would say. But I feel like the more I play, the more I kind of learn the values of using them early when your run is still weak to hopefully get a few benefits out of them. So like I said, the Forget Me Now did allow us to get Diplopia, and then I used Diplopia in a way to get another random Devil Deal item, and in this case it turned out to be the right decision. And I think on the average case it will turn out to be a good decision, just because when your run is so weak you can really use anything to help you. Even if you got a very bad familiar out of it, that would still be very helpful for us. Or even if we just got Spectral Tears, for example, we could still use that with our flight to add an extra layer of defense there. And this time we got Succubus, and that's great. So here I also made like a funny play. I don't know what's up with me, like maybe lately I'm exploring more possibilities than I did before. So about the placebo item, which allows us to take a pill multiple times, just like blank card allows us to take a card multiple times. And I actually managed to find the Tears Up pill, and I just keep using it a lot of times, which means that, you know, I just get a lot of tear shot speed. That doesn't really help me because I have no damage, and my main damage dealer is actually Rotten Baby and the Succubus. But you know, it's still, I think it has a lot of uses, and placebo isn't as strong as blank card, but there are a few cases, I think, where you can actually use it to your advantage. So maybe if you get like a hematemesis pill, you can use that multiple times to get a bunch of hearts and then increase your points a lot by playing the blood banks, or maybe just get yourself to a 1 heart so you can enter a boss trap room, which is something that actually happens later on. So I think the hematemesis pill actually has the most uses here. And what's even better, what you could do if you did find a secret room that contained only black hearts, what we could do is actually use the hematemesis pill in that room, not to get red hearts, but to get black hearts or soul hearts or spirit hearts, however you want to call them. So yeah, there are a lot of plays or choices, I think, that we can make there to really make it useful. But overall, of course, I would say that the pills aren't as useful as the cards are, and the ability to use cards multiple times really does give you a lot of benefits. You know, you can have the Necronomicon effect, you can get a temporary red heart or a damage up, it can work like Book of Belial. There's so many uses for blank card that even allow you to break the game, and placebo will never do that. It will help you, definitely, but never like help you so much that you will win the game because of it. But still, it's a fun item. I'm glad that I actually used and explored some uses with it, because I don't usually do that, especially not on dailies. I really like this daily because it was more of how I actually play the game when I'm not trying to do it fast, because there's always this pressure that you have to get to boss rush and hush, so I end up doing some silly mistakes. But this run, I just saw on the second floor when I was 7 minutes in that I think this is gonna be one of those runs that I'm just not gonna get to boss rush. And that's exactly what I did. I just didn't focus on boss rush. I just said, let's just do this run without boss rush in mind. And I think because of that, my play really improved, and I really got a lot of choices out of it. I even fought Mom here because I had the teleport card, so I can teleport out. And then we got the 5 dice room, which means we can get to it and repeat the whole floor again. So at this point, you know, I'm thinking this is my last floor because there's no way down. I didn't find any AWAS runes. Maybe they were hiding somewhere, but yeah, I didn't manage to find them. So, and we have a lot of choices here. Another thing I did that I think was a good decision, I bought the Deep Pockets item, which allows us to have 2 runes at once. Or just 2 pills or whatever. And that really helped with the placebo item, because you can alternate in what you think is a better choice in a situation. And it also helped us, like, buying that item meant that I can hold both the Pertro rune and both the item or the card that allows us to teleport out. So this seems very far-fetched, but my plan is to go into the Devil Deal, re-roll it, hopefully get a shovel out of it, or maybe just have a chance of getting a shovel, and then teleport out to explore the rest of the floor. And if I don't get a shovel, what I'll do is just use my AWAS rune to actually get to the next floor. And luckily we do have like this little guy here, and we can play him multiple times, and hopefully, I think because we do have the Polaroid, he's pretty much guaranteed to pay out. And we do get the Isaac item, not the Isaac item, but the Contract from Below item, which doubles your consumables. But at this point it's just like, do I take both items, or do I take one item, or will I reroll? So I end up doing something that I think was the right decision, definitely, even though it might not seem like it. So I rerolled the Death's Touch item to get the shovel. And what was my decision behind that? Like, it might seem like I'm cheating. Why would you ever reroll Death's Touch, right? Are you crazy? But my reasoning was there's only 1 floor left that we can actually visit, because we're not guaranteed to get a shovel or an AWAS rune on next floor at all. And so just having 1 damage up item, like the Death's Touch, it's just not that beneficial to us, because we really can't do much with it. So I think it's better to risk that and just have a chance of getting a shovel than just not getting, or I mean just having a 1 damage up and just penetrative shots. Just because I feel also you're facing more enemies, I mean less enemies, which have more HP, so the Death's Touch just kind of loses on its usability when you actually get to the womb and beyond. So maybe that's another reason. But you might be asking, okay, Okay, that makes sense, right? You didn't take it because you wanted a higher chance of getting a shovel. But why did you take contracts from below? Well, actually, my reasoning for that is kind of similar. And the fact is that I know that I will get some uses out of my contract from below, because there will be item drops or like consumable drops, and they will get doubled, which means that I will get more points. So it was really, I saw contract from below as an item that will definitely increase our points, and if we do manage to get a shovel, it will also help us more immensely, just because of course we will be able to visit more floors and we will get more consumables and more chests and things like that, because everything we get is doubled. So that was kind of, I know, far-fetched, like I said. It might not seem like the right decision. I mean, I really think it is the right decision, and I'm glad I actually got to think it through, and that I bought these items that I did. Like, I made so many right decisions in this game that I feel like it comes off as a bit odd that I actually did manage to get to this point. Maybe I just got lucky, you know, that's a possibility. That's what happens sometimes. But I really like that I actually just got to think and make some decisions that actually mattered in the end. Like, even just buying deep pockets, for example, or like the placebo item. That's something I wouldn't usually do. But yeah, at this point, I can start seeing how it affected my run in a very positive way, and I'll definitely be on the lookout for this more relaxed playstyle. Well, not relaxed, but a more active playstyle where I actually consider more items than I did before, and like more combinations that can actually help me. But in this case, you know, we even got Guppy, so the run wasn't too terrible in the end. But it did start out in a very odd way, so, you know, like, our choice for choosing the Forget Me Now early on was definitely what led me to a very decisive win on this run, because I think even the shops would be different if I didn't decide to go with that. And I know that this is the problem of dailies. Someone might not have done that, and they used the Forget Me Now later on, and that's completely valid, of course. You saving the Forget Me Now for later floors is a good idea, because you will get more score. And there's always this balance of when you're gonna use it versus the reward you're going to get. So I don't blame anyone if they feel cheated, maybe, but that's, you know, just the nature of daily runs. This is just how I actually learned to play them, or due to just experimentation and the decisions I've been making, and I see what works and what doesn't, and it really does seem beneficial to use certain items on certain spots, even though it's not the super optimal use for it. It's a good idea in that moment, and that's, like I said, my only reasoning for that, like, basically just experience. And I don't know if these experiences are right. I still have to play a lot more dailies to actually see if these decisions are the right decisions. Just because, you know, so far we might have just gotten lucky with it, and that's what actually led us to success here. But yeah, you know, the fact that we got so far with the shovel, and that we got so many opportunities that we really had to struggle for it, really makes this run rewarding. And we did manage to place 22nd, which is obviously a very good score. Of course, if you take out the cheaters at that point, I'm probably like in the top 10, which is just amazing. I really like that this daily kind of went on so well, and that those decisions matter in the end. Like, really, the things that I noticed were bad about my play, I tried to improve it, and because I was in no rush, I was actually able to apply them, and I'm glad that they worked out well for us. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time.